the Supreme Court has stayed criminal proceedings in the corruption case against B.S. Yediyurappa. The Karnataka High Court had earlier refused to quash the pending criminal proceedings against him under the Prevention of Corruption Act. It was alleged that Yediyurappa had illegally denotified several acres of land in 2006-2007. Let me go across to Shrija for more details on this case. Shrija, help us understand what this case was about, and this will certainly come as a relief to Yediyurappa now, isn't it?
Well, yes, in fact, this particular case that we're talking about dates between, when B.S. Yediyurappa, during his tenure as the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka between February 2006 and October 2007. So he has been accused of allegedly denotifying several acres of land and allotting it to his entrepreneurs during his particular tenure. It's also important to understand that an FIR subsequently was registered by the Karnataka Lokayukta, then the police. This is back in 2015 on a private complaint. A private individual had registered a complaint against B.S. Yediyurappa, and it was filed by Mr. Vasudev Reddy for various offences under especially Prevention of Corruption Act. And of course, we understand the top court at the moment, the Supreme Court today, has issued a notice and plea by former Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa against the Karnataka High Court's order of refusing to quash the FIR against the case that has been registered under the Prevention of Corruption Act. So, in fact, what's also important to understand that here is a bench of Chief Justice N.V. Ramana and Justices Krishna Murari and Hema Kohli issued a notice to the Karnataka government on a special leave petition which was filed by the senior BJP leader. Now, the top court has passed the order after hearing the advocate on behalf of Mr. Yediyurappa. And in fact, it was Yediyurappa who had challenged the validity of the High Court's order of December 2020. Now, we see the High Court had declined to quash the investigation conducted by the Lokayukta police, also stating the fact that there is laxity in conducting the investigation in the instant case against B.S. Yediyurappa. And that is one of the reasons why we understand he also did, of course, move the Supreme Court, and now the Supreme Court has stayed the High Court's order on criminal proceedings against B.S. Yediyurappa.
Also, Shrija, you've very well explained the twists and turns that this case has taken. But considering that this pertained to a case way back in 2000s, what are we hearing on those who had in fact taken this case forward, filed those petitions, or what are we hearing from the other parties that had also alleged corruption against Yediyurappa, corruption charges against Yediyurappa?
Well, in fact, the principal opposition here, the Congress as well, because from the time, since about 10 years or so, they have been alleging corruption against B.S. Yediyurappa, and as well, soon after a case also was filed against Mr. Yediyurappa. We understand that with regard to when he had went ahead and denotified nearly at least about 15 acres is what we're talking about. So a special court was, of course, dealing back into, this is in June 2022, a special court dealing exclusively with the criminal cases. This is especially related to the legislators had granted a bail back then to former Karnataka Chief Minister Yediyurappa in this particular corruption case. And the corruption case, of course, we are talking about especially nearly about over 15 acres of land, and where we understand 15 acres and 30 acres of land where he had illegally denotified in Bengaluru's Bellandur and Devra Bisanahalli. That was acquired for an IT park. And this was, Yediyurappa was only especially the remaining accused, and he had been charged under the Prevention of Corruption Act. Now, as far as especially the Congress and the other opposition parties are concerned, yes, they have also time and again, in fact, spoken about the corruption charges against B.S. Yediyurappa. And now we see again the Supreme Court also staying, especially the High Court's, staying Karnataka High Court's order refusing to quash the corruption FIR against the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa.
All right, Shrija May, thanks for joining us with all those details.